Kim, you pleased with your opening round?
Yeah. I think it could have been 6 under or like 2 over. I did some good things that didn't really get rewarded, and I also made, I feel like, a bunch of putts kind of in the middle of the round. So yeah, some good, some bad, but I think mostly really positive.
If you had to kind of grade your year to this point, what would you kind of give yourself? And why?
I wanted to say like C minus, but I think it's better than that. I think kind of like a B. I think I've played some mediocre golf, but I think I've also done some things really well. If you go back to like the stretch after Memorial through until John Deere, I made like 6 of those 7 cuts on the number basically, and just about every time I birdied like 1 or 2 of the last 4 holes to do it. So I think even though I did struggle, I think I did some things that I'm proud of in that stretch. And I think I've improved upon things from last year. It just hasn't shown in some big finishes. I've turned some really good weeks into average finishes, and I've turned, some average weeks into worse finishes than they need to be.
Why'd you want to say C minus?
Just because I feel like I just feel like there's not many tournaments I look back on and like think, man, I just played so good that week. And I feel like last year there was more of that, but I don't think the golf has been that different. That's why I kind of went back up.
It seems like a pretty big discrepancy for what a round could have been, from 6 under to 2 over. How do you do the math on that? Economics.
I didn't. I just threw some numbers out there. But yeah, I made a good few putts kind of in the middle of the round. I made a few nice up and downs that I didn't have to. They were difficult. And I think all it would have taken was for a couple of those to start to go the wrong way, and golf would have started feeling really hard. And as it was, I kind of kept my momentum and kept myself at a decent score for the day.
What's it like? This is probably new to you, being here and trying to get to East Lake. You've also got the Ryder Cup hanging over you. How do you compartmentalize that stuff?
I don't. Honestly, I don't think a ton about it. I'm vaguely aware that I have to basically win this week to move on, and I don't have a ton of room to miss that. It's got to be a pretty good finish, and there's no pressure from either of those things. It's all from me. It's just the same things I feel every week, trying to prove to myself that I can do what I want to out here, and just trying to be as good as I can at the game of golf. That's why we show up every week, and there's no pressure from those two things that wouldn't be here in the first place.
A lot of guys get consumed with it. Have you something you had to teach yourself, or is it come
naturally?
No,
I think I'm just hard enough on myself that some of the other stuff doesn't matter. Yeah, I can be somewhat tough on myself, and I think it just makes the other things not matter as much. It all just comes from me.
Cam, you make an interesting point because we're so results oriented, right? Like trying to get in the top 50, trying to get the top 30, trying to be a top 10 player in the world. That's kind of by the numbers. How do you gauge or judge improvement year over year? You say you're doing some things better now than last
I think
year.
it can be hard to in some ways, but I think just as far as I think I'm better at being a professional golfer than I was a year ago. As far as the routines we go through in practice, the routines I go through in warm-up, I think I'm doing more productive things at tournament weeks and at home, golf-wise. And I think I'm understanding my golf more and more. And I think it's really hard to measure those things, but I know they're there even if some of the results don't really speak to that. It's just some very little things here and there.
You mentioned it's rare that you look back and feel like you played as well as you could have in a week. Are there any weeks that come to mind where you did feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, this year, it's kind of an obvious one, but the second at the match play, I think had that been a stroke play event, I would have been a lot under par, especially the first 4 or 5 rounds, and just happened to run into Sam Burns putting well, which isn't that fun in match play. But yeah, I was in a lot of control there. And then the Masters, I think I finished 7th a couple weeks later, and I didn't feel quite as much in control, but I feel like I fought really, really hard in that event to stay, not necessarily with a chance to win, but to have a top 2 or 3 or 4. Didn't quite happen, but I feel like I kept myself there when I could have gone the other way. Yeah, after that, not a ton of memorable finishes.
I know you won on KFT in Chicago by
Yeah.
5. What do you remember about that?
I remember Thursday was really, really cold and rainy. Just like 38 and windy and pouring rain. Yeah, I remember I enjoyed that. It was a fun golf course for me. I think it's still on the schedule. It's one of the more fun ones we play. I just remember that week being a grind. It was just one of those that the weather wasn't great. And, yeah, I was just playing some really good golf.
And
You didn't mention Hoy Lake there when you were talking about the tournament. What did you take away from there?
I think I was a little upset. I just didn't putt well through most of the week. I think it was probably one of the best ball striking weeks of the year. I think statistically it probably was my best of the year. And I played really well, but I was just kind of out of it with 6 or 8 holes to go, I felt like, and playing that 18th hole, I didn't feel like I was trying to win a golf tournament anymore. I was just trying to get through the day, and that's not a feeling I really find that memorable.
you had mentioned in the interview from the John Deere that during the Travelers you tried a different driver for one of the rounds.
Yeah, it
and was
didn't work.
that just?
It was just a different head. We just tried something, and it was a bad idea.
Was it like you put it one competition day?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
do you know which one?
It was just the bigger head of the Titleist. I think it's TSR2. It just didn't work.
Which round was it that you?
The first round.
Okay, and then from there you're just like it was
I'm back
easy.
to the same one that I've played for a year and a half or 2 years. Yeah.
What made you decide to try that switch?
It seemed to work on the range, and that just lies quite often.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you, guys.